everyone, welcome to the Whoop UCI Mountain Bike World Series. We're here for a big afternoon of racing at one of our favourite venues, the Bike Kingdom in Lenzerheide, roaring back onto the calendar in 2025. Over on the eastern side of the beautiful, beautiful, stunning as ever. Look, bang on cue, there's Switzerland. How could you not love it? This place only deals in bangers when it comes to UCI World Cup downhill racing. 4 races on their way to you today. 22 degrees Celsius out there. Bit cooler than yesterday. Perfect conditions for a bike race. Here's how the schedule looks then. From 11:30 Central European time, junior women will get us underway. The elites on track from 1 o'clock Central European time. Let's have a look at the course here in Lenzerheide.
Alrighty, boys and girls, welcome back. We got Lenzerheide round, what are we at now, 8 of the World Cup Series. And I'm going to be taking you through your course preview for the week. Oh. So yeah, a little bit of a new start there. They changed some things up and added a few kind of weird jumps, and then we're back into the same track here. This little off camber here is kind of one line, but not much you can really do. And then we're gonna go into the trees here, and it gets a little slick. It's hard to, not much light gets on this mountain at the morning, so, whoa! Yeah, I'm not wrong, it is slick. How's this jump, eh? Let's see what we got for us. Went for the steez there. How cool is that section of track, eh? Man, there's a bunch of filmers there, so had to get the clip. Oh, man. Anyways, back into the same part of the old track here. I've done a bit of work on some berms like this one here. Rips. Ooh, I'm gonna try that highline there. Oh, man. Ooh, like there. Sun hasn't hit it yet, so super slow and hard to predict. Oh, sick berm there. Got a big shrub on, you can probably hear that. I'd say this is the hardest corner on the mountain. To make it to that inside is really tough. It's gonna be a crucial corner come race day. And then yeah, into the pretty famous rock garden here. I'm gonna go with that line and get quite loose. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they built some new steps here. Nice fresh berm there, because that one was so blown out 2 years ago, which was the last time we raced here. One of my favorite jumps is this one here. Really sick. Flat corner that I'm almost gonna miss. Now we're coming in the last jump. Big drop. And a wheelie to the finish line. And there you go.
Just like that. Great having Jackson Goldstone back on course preview duties for the GoPro Course Recon. The big news, of course, in elite men's ranks is virtually he is now tied on points with Loic Bruni ahead of this one. Plenty of intrigue this afternoon as promised. Junior women's racing though about to go. Here from Lenzerheide, here's your start list. Zana Lugar, Future Frameworks, getting us underway. After her will be Neff, Birchall, Frenner's in there, former race winner this season, Husselbosch, Osgard, Zero, Rosa Marie Jensen, Specialized Factory Racing back in the mix. Fastest in qualifying yesterday, won that race earlier in the year. And been injured, Jensen, so we haven't seen the best of her yet. That whole Specialized team, though, rates her extremely highly. Well, let's get a hectic day of racing underway here in Lenzerheide. Here comes Anna Logar. Give us our first proper look at this Lenzerheide track. Really tight right-hander to start things off. The track's name, Straight Line. Bit of a misnomer. Plenty of corners on this one, but it follows the big straight line underneath the lift. You can see it there. Down the hill. when it goes into the trees, there is a little more of the morning dew and moisture still hanging around up there. Looking in great condition though. Course team have done wonders with it all week long. Lugar into the trees for the first time before heading back into the open again. Into the drier section and into the big jumps that make this place so famous. Well, my name's Rick McLaughlin. I'll be taking you through today alongside, I'm pleased to say, Nico Mullally for the junior women's race. Nico, it's a deceptive track this in a lot of ways, isn't it? On one hand, it's pretty straightforward, but that kind of belies the technicality of the place.
I feel like the tracks that are more straightforward actually make it hard to separate yourself as a rider. It's more difficult to get a time gap and, yeah, just get a place above another rider when it's less technical.
Spoke to Lucas Shaw earlier on this morning. He reckons it's actually the 4 or 5 final corners, the berms, where there's a lot of time here, and he said it's just all about being able to ride them perfectly. He says everyone can ride around a berm, but being able to hit it absolutely with minute perfection is where the time is here.
And that little bit of time could be in a few spots. I think that's what he's getting at, is like a tenth of a second could be the difference between first and second.
We've always had really tight racing here in Lenzerheide as Lugart drops into this really steep section now through the woods.
Xana's looking really smooth today. She's this is her first season racing the World Cups, and she's steadily progressed. She's made every final aside from one which she crashed in. And yeah, it's cool to see the junior field, how through one season, just over a few months, you can visibly see progression.
Yeah, big spread of race winners in the junior women's category as well, which is great to see.
Yeah, it's coming into the season, we knew it was going to be competitive. There's quite a few first-year juniors that are on big factory teams and have a lot of support. And it's just cool to think what the future of the women's category is going to be when all these riders progress to elite. Yep,
downhill looking really healthy here. Xana Lugard down through this rock section. Couple of lines higher up there, Nico, as well. One of the few places that there is a bit of creativity scope.
Yeah, there is, and even the sections where there isn't a ton visibly, like being over just a few centimeters left or right with your tire can make a difference here today.
Lugard down through these turns, underneath the lift, does that big drop, which slings you down the remainder of this track. And we get our first glimpse of the Lenzerheide crowd filling this place up from early doors this morning. Most of them still in the lift queue to head up to the top as we get Lugard down across the line for our first time of the day. Into the hot seat. Track looking absolutely perfect up there, Nico. Slightly more rough perhaps than we saw it yesterday, cut up a little bit.
I think it is. It's probably perfect in the wood sections and a little bit dry and slick out in the open.
Gianna Neff on course, as is Bella Birchall. Currently, here comes Neff, the first of our Swiss riders, down the line, faster by 1.9 seconds on the time of Xana Lugard, the 4 split.
So tight times as we expected. You know, a lot of times in the beginning of the junior women's race, the times come down in chunks, but as we're seeing today, it's like around a second. So that's what we're going to be seeing.
Yeah, good indicator for a good day's racing ahead as we get Neff across the line. Is she going to go into the hot seat? Goes fastest by 3 seconds in the end, Neff. So really big run for her. And we're used to talking about Switzerland as a cross-country nation, but Neff doing it in the downhill. Bella Birchall up next for New Zealand.
Bella's had a really strong season with the Team High Country program, building each race consistent through the year. It's really cool to see her put a season together like this.
She's 2.4 seconds faster at the third split, so Birchall's having a good go at this one for Team High Country. These are the corners Lucas Shaw was talking about, where you just need to absolutely ace them to guarantee yourself that half a bike length of exit speed. 4.4 seconds faster at the 4 split for Bella Birchall. Times tumbling really, really early on here in the junior women's category. Birchall coming down towards the line, off the big drop, crosses it. Goes fastest by 5.2 seconds in the end. Nico, big margin.
Yeah, that was big. It's kind of what we expect, but I think maybe she qualified a little further down than she normally does, so more of a heavy hitter.
Elise Porta for France leaves the start hop. First we've seen of her, Porta just got sat up slightly, missed that rut, might cost her some time.
Yeah, that exit speed kind of carries you all the way through that uphill right there into the bridge.
1.5 seconds faster at the third split, Elise Porta. She comes down to the fourth. What's it going to tell us? Dead even. 1.5. Never seen that before, Nico.
That's a lucky number.
Elise Porta, what is it going to be by the line? She was dead even at the fourth split.
You have to say it makes it exciting coming into the finish.
It does, doesn't it? Well, can she capitalise on that on exactly the same time as the hot seat resident Bella Birchall at the last split? Here comes Elise Porta, crosses the line, loses 1.2 seconds. So Birchall really, really strong down the bottom of the course. Lena Frenner up next. Frenner for Norco Racing Division, the first of our previous race winners this afternoon.
And she's looked really strong on this track. There's a lot of big G-force turns, a lot of berms where you've got to really be strong to carry the bike, and she's looked really good through those.
One in Ludenville, she's 6.1 seconds, 6.9 seconds now faster. Frenner making a good case for a win here this afternoon. Will be her second of the season. One in Ludenville, Nico, and that's one of those modern tracks that if you win there, it does count for that little bit extra, doesn't it?
It does. It has a little bit of everything on that track, so it makes you a well-rounded rider if you can win on that one.
Frenner just running it all the way out to the apex marker for Norco Race Division. Is she about to go into the hot seat? Does so, 5.7 seconds. Lost a little bit of time down the bottom. Matilda Melton next up for Commensal Les Ors by Schwalbe.
And she's had a great year as well. 2 podiums and really consistent through the whole season.
Yeah, won a Coupe de France right at the start of the year as well, which is always a good barometer. 0.7 of a second faster at the third split. She was 6th at the UCI World Championships, Melton. Didn't have the run there that she was hoping for, but it's coming, isn't it? She's definitely on the move.
Absolutely.
47 kilometers an hour through the speed trap for Melton. Off the big drop, within sight, off the line now. Clears the bridge with ease. Matilda Melton, great strength late in a run through the Red Bull arch and off the big drop.
This could be close.
This is going to be very, very close. Here comes Melton. Can she overturn that deficit? She does so. 0.2 of a second faster than the hot seat time of Lena Frenner.
The time in that last split, as you said.
Something about that little flat left-hander that seems to be catching a few of them out. Ellie Husselbosch for the Santa Cruz Syndicate. Really nice line there, Nico, up high on the left-hand side.
Yeah, she really anticipated and set that turn up well. She's the most aggressive of any girl in the junior women's category. In practice, she's always looking so fast, so it'd be nice to see her put together one of the runs that she's hoping for this weekend.
Yeah, and she is in a bit of form at the minute, Husselbosch. Second at the UCI World Championships in Champery a couple of weeks ago, so as you say, we just kind of haven't seen the best of her in syndicate colours yet, but it's definitely all in there.
And she's got it through the practice sessions. Just the race runs just haven't come together the way she wanted to.
Down through the berms off the Bike Kingdom. Really, really busy bike park here in Lenzerheide. And you can see they are just getting dusty looking now, getting chopped up.
Nicely over that uphill jump there.
1.2 seconds faster for Husselbosch so far.
And that's a lot considering how straightforward the first split of this track is. 1.2 is a decent margin in there.
Yep, this could be a big, big run from Ellie Husselbosch. Gets herself really nice and compact down behind the bars through that corner, over the bridge. The level has lifted so high in this junior women's field now. Speed's absolutely huge.
Yeah, in both junior categories, it's pushing them so far.
You just hear the rims connecting the roots there. She runs out a tire through them.
One of the hardest things on this track is the light. When the riders go out in the open, it's so bright in the sun, and then they go back into the woods, and it's really dark.
She's lost 1.3 seconds here, though, somewhere. Husselbosch. Big cheese up on the left-hand side. You had any of the cheese yet?
I have not. We're gonna need some in the commentary booth.
Yeah, if anyone's listening and get some cheese up to us, that would be great. I mean, it's a small room, but I'm here for it. Steve Pete watches on at the bottom alongside Lyle Hislop, the mechanic at the Santa Cruz Syndicate. Husselbosch just getting hung up slightly on those rocks through there. Half a second faster, though, so she's back into the green now at the third split. Really aggressive stance on the bike as well, Nico. You can see with the elbows out.
Yeah, aggressive and strong. You can tell she's a strong young woman. She's able to like really hit all those compressions and berms with a lot of muscle behind it.
Husselbosch with a long run down to the fourth split. What's it going to tell us? Gets through those rocks neat and tidy. Makes the track as wide as she can up the left-hand side, cuts back down towards the apex marker. Fourth split, 2/10 back now, so this has been a real roller coaster up a run from Husselbosch.
She's gonna have to open it up through these last turns because Tilly made up that time in this last split.
She was super strong. Matilda Melton down through this final split. Can Husselbosch overturn that 2/10 of a second deficit? Absolutely all to play for here in the junior women's category at the in-friendly UCI Downhill World Cup. Here comes Ellie Husselbosch across the line and goes into third place, half a second back. Oh, Nico, it was all there.
Look at how tight that top three is.
Alifa Osgaard, the American, leaves the start hop. How do you rate Alifa's chances today?
I'd say she's got great chances on any junior women's race. I think she's a little fired up. She wanted more at the World Championships. She finished third, which was good, she admitted, but she was hoping for a first place medal, so I think she's going to take that aggression out on the track today.
Yeah, 2 UCI Downhill World Cup wins to her name so far this season. Rounds 5 and 6 going the way of the Canyon Collective on the number 2 bike. Another really aggressive.
Really good through that off-camber.
Yeah.
That's one of the more technical sections on the track, and it's actually the exit. As you exit the wood here, it's so flat that carries you for so far. So acing that right-hand turn after the off-camber is really going to make a lot of time for her.
I mean, I know you could say it about every single racetrack on Earth, but 2.5 seconds faster. Osgaard setting about it here. You can say it about every single racetrack on Earth, but it's so much of this track is about exit speed, isn't it? Just ticking things off and then exiting smoothly.
Absolutely. There's not that many ways you can be creative with the lines here. So a lot of riders are just going to have to hit their marks, and it's how well you hit those marks that's going to make the difference today.
Alifa Osgaard hitting them pretty well so far. 2.5 seconds faster than the time of her
on that jump.
Went so far on that.
I mean, if we're seeing the junior women go to flat on it, we're going to see some flat landings today.
There is going to be some emergency landings coming up later on this afternoon if this is anything to go by. Alifa Osgaard looking really good for the Canyon Collective here now, though. Oh, really nicely done. Kicks the back end out. Nico Mullally nods of appreciation in the commentary booth.
And she hit that turn into the bridge really well. That bridge, that road gap is super narrow, so it's hard to execute the left turn and not kind of feel like you're going to fall off that plank while you're exiting. Just
had to anchor up slightly to get over to the left-hand side there in the middle of that corner, but 2.2 seconds, little shorter run now to the third split for Alifa Osgaard.
She does have some time to play with, but you could see 2 visible mistakes here in this split.
2 to go after her. Rosa Marie Jensen up next. Can Alifa Osgaard put herself into pole position? No, 2.9 seconds though. It's going well so far. Another one of those fascinating battles, isn't it? At the bottom, Fabian Burrell will be watching this, just as Steve Pete was watching Ellie Husselbosch before that.
Yeah, as a team manager, it's stressful. You put so much into the race weekend, and you just want the best for your riders. All you can ask is they deliver their best run possible, and that's what you're hoping for at that point. There's nothing you can do. You're just watching on.
I was going to say the older names of the sport, and I realized that you were one of them with ACES, so I thought I'd throttle back on that.
Yeah, I've lived a lot of years in a short time.
2.9 seconds at the third split for Aoife Osgaard. 3.9 now. She's found an extra second in there, Nico.
That was really good. It seemed like she kind of got hung up on that wall section too, but it just must be the pace that she's going. She's able to make do with a few minor errors.
An absolutely huge run in the making for Aoife Osgaard. Needs to get the bike to the line now. Just a big drop to go, pedaling straight off the end of it. The American in with a great shot of taking her third win of the season. 4.5 seconds faster than Matilda Melton.
That was really good, and she hit those 2 turns before the last jump really well.
Landed so deep there.
Yeah.
Next up, though, it's the newly crowned junior downhill world champion, Rosa Zerl, the Austrian.
Rosa's going to be a hard one to beat. She just looks so deceptively fast. She's so smooth on the bike, and it makes it look easy out there.
Last European round of the season, of course, as well, so last chance for her to compete against her home fans. A lot of fans here this afternoon for the Austrian, especially after that junior worlds win.
Yeah, we're not far from Austria. The border's just a few miles away from here.
Yeah, I spoke to her earlier in the week, and she said that her biggest strength is the consistency, and she thinks a lot of it just comes from keeping it chilled out, keeping it relaxed, and not getting too caught up in the stress of racing. Easier said than done.
That's good for the juniors to ease into it that way. I think it builds, like, you'll have plenty of races through your career where you will be stressed, so you don't need to make it when you don't have it.
Yeah, you don't. It's not often you hear a junior talking about keeping things relaxed. It has to be said.
At that age, it feels like every race is the most important race.
Yeah, had a little look around this custom painted UCI World Champs bike as well, apparently. 0.7 of a second faster at the first split for Rosa Zerl, keeping herself really, really low on the bike. Let's see how deep she goes off this big kicker. Lands it almost perfectly, you'd have to say.
Yeah, really smooth through there. That's the thing with Rosa. She doesn't ever look out of sorts, but the time just keeps ticking down.
She was saying, yeah, she was a bit confused as to why they'd taken the bike off her at the end of the World. She said she wanted to take it home and sort of, you know, put it in pride of place. Then she realized that it was off to get the custom paint job for this race. 1.2 seconds faster at the second split. Rosa Zerl on a really, really good run here, given what we just saw from Aoife Osgaard.
And we saw Aoife have 2 minor bobbles in this section right here, mainly that left we just saw. So if Rosa can ride smoothly through here, I think she'll extend that lead a little bit.
And it is, I mean, very, very early in both of their careers, but great to have a rival like this so early, Nico.
Absolutely, it pushes you. I mean, I'm dealing with that with Asa now, competing against the Allren brothers. It's making them all better. Their times are all very competitive in the elite category, and if you don't have a rival like that, you wouldn't be as good as you were without that push.
Inside a second now into the green for Rosa Zerl, 0.9 of a second. This would be her 4th UCI Downhill World Cup win of the season if she can get to the line in the green. One rider left at the top who might have a say in that, though, Rosa Marie Jensen.
Cleanly through that last wall section. That's the more technical section we have before the finish. And then we've got these flat turns you mentioned that she's going to have to ace to keep that time in check.
But she uses her upper body very, very well, Zerl, doesn't she? She's sort of Lucas Shaw-like in that she's never really in a rush or never thrown her weight around, just keeps the ship balanced the whole time nicely.
I want to say I haven't seen a mistake from her this whole season as commentating on every one of her runs.
Rosa Zerl within sight and earshot off the finish line. It's been great so far. That third to fourth split, 2.3 seconds. Green for Rosa Zerl, heading towards the line. Is it going to be win number 4 for the Austrian? She puts herself into a pole position to get a 3.1 seconds faster than Aoife Osgaard. Big, big run from Rosa Zerl, Nico.
Really was. That was exactly what we expected from her.
Here we go, though. Jensen leaves the start hop for Specialized.
She's been one of the most highly anticipated riders coming into this junior category, riding for the Specialized Gravity team, one of the best teams in the circuit, that has the most resources. And she had a rough go. You know, she won the first race and then had an injury that kept her out, and she's just getting back to that same pace that she was at. It hasn't come easily coming back from the injury, but qualifying first. She's in a prime spot to make her mark today.
And worth mentioning as well, that win in Stark Bike Park came amidst the snow and freezing conditions and really showed a lot of toughness. Just has to, clips the apex pad on the way through. Got caught between stations a little bit there, Nico.
Yeah, she didn't quite get the drive out of that section. Like, as I mentioned, it's a pretty long flat, and having to corner back to make that apex marker might have cost her just a little bit of time by the end of that straightaway.
There's Marie Jensen, 52 kilometers an hour through the speed trap. 1.6 seconds back though at the first split. Do you think that was that bobble of leaving the woods?
I think at least a second of it was, and if she can, it looks like she just ran wide there too. I was gonna say it's not something she can't make up, but she's made another mistake there, and also just that left there looked like she ran a bit wide. So she's gonna have to really clean this up if she wants to make it up in the second half of the race.
What we're looking at now, this is the conundrum that is Lenzerheide, is that although it's straightforward in terms of some of the other tracks we go to, you can't make those mistakes. There's not enough space to make up the time again.
She goes inside here, entering the woods. That was an interesting line. Most riders were using a berm on the outside. Shorter distance, and seemed like she executed it really well.
2.7 back though. She's lost another 1.1 seconds. Laurent Delorme and Tim watch on from Specialized at the bottom.
I think we've saw every one of those mistakes that are adding to that 2.7. So if she can really open it up for this second half of the race, it's possible she could gain that time back.
I mean, we mentioned it at the start of the race, but what a generation of junior racers, both in the women and men's field at the minute. They're just great races to watch.
They really are. The fields are so competitive. They have the support of major teams. I think that's what we've seen since they started this junior category a few years ago, is more support for riders of this age that are helping the development of the future.
Yeah, let's see what the next split says. 2.3, so she's found 0.4 of a second here, Jensen. It's not over yet.
No, 2.3 is not out of the question.
Yeah, top three are currently covered by 7.7 as well, so Zero and Oscar were really close. Matilda Melton a bit further off, so Jensen maybe heading to a podium here if she can keep this together.
Yeah, and that's a tough thing, as you mentioned. She pushed the limit, she went for it, she tried to go all in on her run, and she just ran wide in a few turns. So if you're gonna go for it like that, sometimes that's what happens.
3.8 seconds for Rosa Marie Jensen to find. Off the big drop, down towards the final bridge. Really nicely done. There was just those mistakes in the woods that cost her so dear. Jensen off the drop. This is going to be it is going to be win number 4 for Rosa Zero. Jensen goes third, last stop on the podium for her, but Rosa Zero gets her 4th UCI Downhill World Cup of the season. Alifa Osgaard takes second, and there are the top 3 of a very, very competitive generation of junior women's racing. Matilda Melton 4th place today, Lena Frenner 5th, but take nothing away from Zero. Nico, you said at the start of her run that you hadn't seen any mistakes from her this year, and that was the same again.
For sure, and I think some of these other girls were hoping to shift the momentum. Up before today, we had 3 races to go, and they probably wanted to get some of the points coming back their direction, and she put an end to that real quick.
Here we see those mistakes. Talk us through them.
Yeah, she ran wide. It's a long straightaway that runs out into the open, and she just clipped the apex pad because she was too far left. Rosa had 2 other sections where she ran a bit wide and had to check up, lose momentum on her exit to not run wide of the track.
Yeah, but crucially, back at it, back on the podium.
Yeah, she's got to be happy with the podium, and to look back on your run and see where the time was lost, not be wandering, I think she can improve on that next time.
Yeah, and I tell you that team down there at Specialized with Laurent, Tim, they've seen it all, they've done it all, they've won it all. What a place to be for a young rider. But let's talk about Cube as well. Another big result for them in 2025. They're really doing the job, aren't they?
Yeah, they really do. They've got great riders in each category.
There we go, Rosa Zell taking the win ahead of Alifa Osgaard. Then Rosa Marie Jensen in 3rd, Matilda Melton 4th, Lena Frenner in 5th. Husselbosch for the Santa Cruz Syndicate disappointed with a 6th. Bella Burchell, Porta, Neff, Lugar. Let's go down now to the UCI Junior Downhill Women's Champion and the winner of this race. Here's Rosa Zero.
Rosa, huge congratulations. Your 4th World Cup downhill win and the first time doing so in this jersey. What did that feel like?
Oh, it's crazy. I was enjoying this track, but struggled a bit. And yeah, I just wanted to come down safe and be consistent the season after winning the World Champs title. And that's now a win. It's more than expected, so I'm so happy.
And let's not forget, you are just 16 years old. You are transcending the sport. How much confidence did that recent win give you at the World Championships?
Definitely a lot. Racing in this jersey still feels unreal. When I put it on the start, I was like, God, that's so crazy that I can race in that jersey. And yeah, that I did a good run now. Yeah, I'm so happy.
You're also #1 in the individual standing. So how much are you thinking about that as we head towards the business end of the season?
I'm not really thinking a lot about this, but I think if I'm staying consistent, then could be all right. So, yeah.
Huge congratulations, well done.
Thank you so much.
Rosa Zero backs up UCI Downhill World Championship title with a UCI World Cup win. That's the way to do it, Nico, isn't it?
It really is. Sometimes it can feel pressure wearing that jersey. I know riders in the past have mentioned that, and when you started out on a positive note, you start that good feedback loop.
Yeah, it's been a funny sort of, almost an albatross for some riders, hasn't it? In the past, the UCI World Champs jersey, the white and rainbow stripes, and we've seen it a lot in downhill, especially riders winning it before a UCI World Cup downhill race and then struggling to do so. Here's what the overall looks like. Zero, 75 points though, ahead of Osgard. Osgard still right in the hunt ahead of Melton, Frenner, Husselbos, Birchall, Jensen, but Alifa Osgard, no win today, but keeping the pressure up at the front of the overall.
Yeah, she is. She's right where she needs to be, and a little bit cleaner run, and she'll have that win.
Yep, all to play for, but 2 to go in the junior women's overall. Go Jackson. Not long to wait now for the junior men's race. 8th round of the UCI Downhill World Cup here from Lenzerheide, the Bike Kingdom. Filling up nicely. 24 degrees Celsius out there. It's a little bit cooler than what we had for the cross-country short track races yesterday afternoon. Here's how the rest of your afternoon looks. 12 o'clock Central European time, junior men's race underway. Then from 1 o'clock, it'll be the elite women. 10 past 2, elite men will be on course here at the Whoop UCI Mountain Bike World Series.